Ladies and gentlemen, it has finally happened. After years of letting players hide behind sustain, Riot is pulling the plug on the safety nets that shaped the laning phase. Patch 25.21 hits Doran's items, second wind, and Catalyst of Aeons, changing how nearly every lane in the game plays. For the first time in a while, trading patterns and early pressure actually matter again. The biggest shakeup starts with the Doran's line. Doran's blade no longer provides lifesteal. Instead, it now heals for 2.5% of all damage dealt, including ability damage. So that does sound small, but for specific champions, that's actually a buff. Anything that's actually skill-based, or something like an Aatrox, for example, that does not depend so much on auto attacks, but more on ability damage. Doran's Ring is also getting some changes to its rhythm. Its mana regeneration is now down from 1.25 to 1.0 per second. But now when you hit an enemy champion, the regen spikes to 2 per second for 5 seconds. And the idea behind this is to reward aggression. So instead of rewarding champions for playing really safe, they're going to try to reward champions for poking. Now, the biggest nerf that we're seeing is in a Doran Shield and Second Wind. Doran Shield's healing for melee champions drops from 45 to 40, and a Second Wind no longer gives its flat 3 HP per second base regen. It now scales only with missing health. Together, these changes are shattering the sustained meta that's been dominant for years. Laners who relied on passive healing to coast through rough matchups are going to feel the pain immediately. Poke sticks harder and mistakes matter again. Catalyst of Aeons, the stepping stone to Rod of Ages, also is taking a hit, losing 50 HP, so going from 350 to 300, and that's a direct nerf to all the traditional scaling mages and AP bruisers who depend on the Catalyst item early. So things like Rise and Nivea, Cass, Twisted Fate, Cassidon, Gragas, Vigor, there's a whole list of them. These champions will now be easier to punish before their mid-game scaling kicks in. Up top, the lane is all about to flip. Tanks and sustained bruisers like Cassante, Shin, Dr. Mundo, etc. are going to be losing a large chunk of their early durability. Without Second Wind and Doran's Shield to soak poke, they have a much harder time surviving range matchups. In contrast, ranged bullies like Cass, Teemo, Ken, and Jace are going to rise. Cassiopeia, in particular, benefits twice, so better mana sustain from the ring change, and opponents weaker healing. So expect her to become very difficult in solo lanes. Mid lane shifts even harder. LeBlanc comes out ahead thanks to the new Doran's Ring, more mana regen for constant harassment, and less sustain on her targets. Artillery mages such as Zig, Xerath, and Vel'Koz will finally feel impactful again, since their poke can't be effortlessly healed off. Control mages like Orianna and Lissandra also stand to gain, as their reliable CC and shields make them the new standard for safety and consistency in a harsher mid lane environment. But not everybody's smiling. Cassidon also gets hit from all three angles. Catalyst HP's down, Doran Shield's nerfed, and Second Wind is gutted. In the jungle, Diana's monster damage has been toned down from 300% to 80%, slowing her clear speed and dropping her from S to A tier in efficiency. Meanwhile, Volibear continues his quiet comeback with Trinity Force Rush outperforming AP builds, and Jax remains solidly OP, benefiting from steady buffs over the last few patches. Down in the bot lane, ADCs get lighter touches, so Ezreal and Kalista both receive small AD growth buffs that translate to roughly 1% increase in win rate, but not enough to lift them from their current B/C placements. And Jinx and Ashe still dominate the meta, with Doran's Blade's new ability-based healing giving slight quality of life improvements to champions like Jhin, who weave spells into their trades. Supports remain mostly steady, so Bard's AP scaling buff won't shake things up much unless players pivot away from Dead Man's Plate. And then Morgana's armor nerf is more relevant to her mid lane presence than support play. And unsurprisingly, Milio and Nami stay untouched at the top, as that enchanter duo still lead the role. Taken together, these changes do more than tweak numbers. They redefine the laning fundamentals. For years, Sustain has masked skill differences and dueled matchup volatility. You can make mistakes, fall behind in CS, and still stabilize by hiding under turret with Second Wind ticking. Those days are gone. Trading patterns, wave control, and understanding timing windows will matter again. So patch 25.21 re-establishes accountability. Ranged champions get their agency back. Poke is meaningful again, and the players who manage waves, spacing, and tempo best will rise. If you guys enjoyed the video, please consider liking and subscribe to the channel. See you guys in the next one.